think I'm supposed to say ready, set, trip. But hey, ready, set, trip. I think we're in this thing. Happy Sunday, folks. Happy third or fourth Sunday. I don't even know what Sunday it is of the month, but I know that it is definitely Sunday set trip. I think we got it right. It's not the Sunday set trip, and it is Sunday for sure. We're on the set. We're on the set of the One Successful Failure podcast. And if you don't know, now you know. And then you with your girl Trip, man. This is just Trip today. I mean, I am the host of the One Successful Failure podcast, but this isn't that. This is just Sunday. We're on the set is Trip. Sunday set Trip. Welcome in. Welcome to, I guess, the set. Welcome to our Sunday community, our Sunday accountability group. Welcome to the motherfucking family. Future failures, tap in. Welcome. Good to see you. Failures who don't even know that they're future failures, welcome in. Nosy people who are just here to see what she gonna talk about today. Is it gonna be her life? Is it gonna be something valuable to her? Is it, what are we here for today? Hey, all y'all that's here, thank you for coming in. Make sure still, even though this isn't the pod, this is the channel where you're going to find everything that damn trip, everything one successful failure, every motherfucking thing. You're going to find it right here on this page. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, show me a little bit of love on the page. This is where on Sundays, this is where we get a little bit more vulnerable. It goes a little bit beyond the podcast. It goes into my life. It goes into keeping up with what we have set out as goals. It goes into me on a more relaxed set. Well, not more relaxed set, but more relaxed on the set. And maybe discussing things that people might have said on the podcast the weeks coming before. If you don't know, we just dropped a new episode. So go check out the One Successful Failure podcast. New episode alert. It just came out, just dropped on... Shit, I don't even know what. Oh, I guess I do know what today is. It's Sunday. But the episode just dropped, maybe Friday. Go and check it out. Like, subscribe. Get the notifications. That way you'll know when Just Trip is on. Sunday Set Trip. That way you'll know when the One Successful Failure podcast has dropped a new episode. Anytime there is some new heat, some new, I don't know, in touch, some new entanglement news, whatever we're doing here, right here, whenever it drops. If you're a subscriber, hey, you'll get the notifications and you'll be the first ones to know what's going on in the world of this future failure, our future failure community, and what you can tap into to make your future failures more of a success. And that's what it is. You know, I'm rocking the successful fuck up tee today. And yes, just because I'm not on the pod doesn't mean I'm not going to have on the pod swag, the pod merch. You know what I'm saying? Make sure and grab your successful fuck up tee. Yeah, it's a shameless plug. I don't care. It's my shit. All I wear is my shit. Fuck ups by the caseload. Okay, that was a little bit of remix, but y'all know what I mean. I don't know if I'm messing up the mics because I'm taking my shoes off, getting a little more comfortable with y'all. So hopefully you're tuning in. Shout out. I'm going to do this every time. First of all, shout out to my day oneers. People who have been with me since day one of the podcast, since day one of tapping into the ThatDamn Trip page, to the Sincerely ThatDamn Trips, and now to the Sunday Set Trip. Shout out to you all. If you are rocking with me on this Sunday, this rainy, crazy ass Sunday, this bipolar weather Sunday, if you're here rocking with me right now, make sure you drop those ones in the chat because I love my day oneers. It lets me know that I'm still putting out something that you want to hear. You're still tapped in with me. We're still holding each other accountable, and you're still tuning in to see what I'm going to be saying, what's going to come out of my crazy motherfucking mouth. You never know around here. So my day oneers, love y'all. Shout out. Make sure you put a one in the chat so I know how many people have been with me since this thing launched. Now, day tours or my tours, who's going to drop a two in the chat? You're my people who might have found me season 2, who might have found me at this second go around, this Sunday Set Trip, who might have just been introduced to me recently through somewhere else. So you got like the second degree of separation. If you're a tour, and the craziest thing is my favorite number is 2, if you don't know. So I probably got a little more love for the tours. But if you're a tour, go ahead and drop a 2 in the chat. Someone that just caught up, just as, you know, you're just getting introduced. Or someone who is new to everything here. Drop that in the chat. And lastly, shout out to my motherfucking replayers. I say it all the time. Shout out to my replayers, those people who didn't catch us live tonight, but they decided to say, hey, man, it was Sunday Set Trip. We're in an accountability community. We're holding each other accountable. I want to see, I just really want to see what she's talking about. If that's you and you're catching this on the replay, which means you're not catching it live, which means you had to make an intentional effort or it came across your timeline and something said, man, let me go see what this is about because it strikes a chord with me. Let me go see what healing looks like. Let me go see what weather and motivation have to do with one. Let me go see what this damn Sunday set trip is about. If you're one of those replayers and caught me on your own casual time and you still decided to tap in, much love to you. Shout out to my replayers. I hope to see you back. I hope eventually you'll be a day oneer or somebody chunking up the deuces in the chat. But let's get to it, y'all. It is the Sunday after the Sunday after. Yeah, I say it every time because we're doing this every other Sunday. It's like a mid-month check-in that we're doing with one another. You know, we're still seeing if you're still there. We're still seeing if you're holding on to right now what is, I guess, New Year's goals. We talked about the New Year's resolutions and we talked about the beginning of the year and we talked about after you've relaxed and reset it, the new things that you got going on. And I'm really just wondering how many of y'all are still with me? And how many of people have already fallen off? No judgment. This is don't judge me. Judge your nanny. I'm not going to judge you. I might judge your nanny, especially if she's kind of bad. But let's stick to the script. We're only in the third week, maybe the fourth week, and a lot of people have already fallen off. Like, I'll be honest, there's a couple of things that, nothing major, and I guess we can talk about that too, but there's a couple of things that I already said that I might have was or wasn't going to do, and I either fell off from those or got a little lenient on them. And the reason why I say nothing major is because it wasn't one of the big goals. It wasn't the lose the 20 pounds. It wasn't the go to the gym every day consistently. It wasn't nothing big. It might have been something as small as, well, I mean, to me it was small. It might have been something as small as to, like, treat yourself every 2 weeks. Or part of my going to the gym and the weight loss and fitness goals are I just want to look better. I want to, I'm in this new space in my life where I have to, I guess, get back eventually out into the dating pool. And when I do, I want to be part of the best selection that there is. No disrespect to anybody that may be fat. No disrespect to anybody who doesn't care about getting their hair done and staying on top of things. When I can honestly say when I got into a relationship, I got more relaxed on those things. But now, like I said, that I'm supposed to be one of the fucking fish in the sea, I got to make sure I'm right. And part of that is my eating. I have to eat enough. I have to eat the right things. But, I might have fallen off saying that I was going to cook more for this and meal prep. And those might have been my intentions. And I think I might have relaxed a little bit on that because I'm doing different things in life. When I was taking the fast and doing different things or working with my trainer last time, my schedule was different. So I probably had more time to cook or meal prep or meal plan or whatever. And on this one, maybe I didn't. Maybe I was just hoping to squeeze it in amongst all the other things that I was doing. So something as small as that has fallen off, or I might have fallen off or might have slowed down on it. But I think the question for you, that probably is the question for me, is I started off this saying by I fell off on something already, but it wasn't anything major. Well, what makes a goal major or minor? And what makes which one you fall off on acceptable or not? And I think I called that minor because I didn't set everything around it that I needed in place in order not to fail at it. And because I thought it was small, I didn't add it to my new way of living. I didn't incorporate it into my new routine. I don't think I built a space for it. And I guess because I didn't build a space for it, that's how it became easy to, I guess, drop off. I guess that's part of, everything. When you want one thing to change, you have to change. It's crazy how if you want one thing to change, you got to change like 15,000 fucking things. I only want one thing to change. Why do I have to give up 5? I only want one thing to change. Why do I have to add in 10? And I think that's where I'm learning that a new routine sometimes is necessary for the littlest things to fall into place. I haven't fallen off on goals. I've fallen off of things that I didn't create a routine around or incorporate a routine around. And maybe I got it all wrong. Maybe I'm supposed to create the goal and then create the routine. But I think if we were to do that, and maybe you know better than me, how do you set your goals or how do you set your routines or vice versa? I think I've figured that I have these goals. I might write down goals, 3 or 4 or 5. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to eat less oils and shit like that because I want my skin to be better, or I just want to eat less oils because the shit clog up your stomach, or whatever it may be. I take those goals and then I develop the routine around it. But some people do the opposite. They say from here on out, I'm going to get up at 5. I'm going to be in bed by 9, and I'm going to, those are it. And so they develop everything else, the goals that they want to accomplish within that routine. And which way is the right way? I think what I failed at is not the little bitty things. I think they became little bitty things because I didn't add them or I didn't find the time to build them in. And I think I need to learn to start when I'm building a new routine, or maybe that's how we fall off. Maybe as an accountability group, that's what we need to hold each other to. Not just the goal. Hey, how you doing on that weight loss? Oh shit, I'm straight. I'm 7 pounds down. Okay, cool, but it's like 6 months in. Why the fuck are you only 7? Maybe we should be holding each other accountable on the entire routine that it's taking to reach that goal. I think, I have a couple of friends, 2, 5, 4, whatever, however many. Shout out to you. You know who you are. And I think where I get to hold them accountable, and I think where sometimes a really good friend or a nagging friend, is because when you tell me you got a goal or this is something that you want to achieve or accomplish, I'm going to be the person or nosy motherfucker or whatever you want to call me. I'm going to say, well, why do you want to do that? Well, what's it going to do? What's it going to feel? Ooh, what you going to feel like when you do that? And then once you do that, what's next? And people be like, dang, nigga, slow down. I just said I was going to have a goal. And I'll be like, oh, okay. And they make me feel like, there's been other people in my life to make me feel like I think too far ahead or I get way. But I realize now that that's not the truth. I realize that a lot of my friends, or sometimes even me, we fail off or fall off or we don't stick to our goals or routines because we don't think far deep enough. So I think as a collective, and I think what I'm learning not only in just goal setting, but in routine setting, I gotta think way deep down the line. I gotta stop listening to that old me and listen back to the new me and overthink some shit sometimes. I think sometimes overthinking some shit is great, especially in something like this. I thought maybe my meal planning and all that was so small, so minute that I didn't think deep enough. But I forgot that if you're on a fast or if you're changing your way of living and it's 1 week that you don't prep, it's one day that you got something extra and you still got to get those calories in, and maybe your check is short and you don't have the money just to go out, it can fuck up everything that you're working on. But we don't really take the time to think that deep. We just say these are our goals and kind of develop a routine, and then we just go with it. But I think part of our new routine, and I think part of my new routine, is I'm going back to what used to work. And I'm not going to be gaslit anymore about overthinking and shit. Now, the only people who try to convince you that overthinking is a bad thing is motherfuckers who don't think enough, or somebody who's trying to get over you and they don't want you to stop to think about what it is that you seen, saw, heard, or know, because they don't want you to see that they're getting over on you. So I think part of our new routine, or part of my new routine, is going to be taking some time at least once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. I talked to y'all about relaxing and resetting. Should we do it on a weekly or a monthly? Well, whenever we decide as a collective or as a person or as an individual, when we're going to have that personal reset time, when we're going to have that personal relaxation time, whether it be a spiritual bath, a regular bath, whether it be a at-home pedicure. It's not something big that you have to go do, but if you have to go do something big for your one-day reset, do that. But I think in that reset where we're resetting and we're relaxing, and I think we should throw in some reflection on our routine and just make sure that we have put in place all the things that we need in our current or new routine to achieve the new goals or to hit the new targets or to measure at the measurements that we've set for ourselves. It's like a checkup for our checkup. It's like, when you go and get your tires done, make sure you get in alignment. It's so funny because it wasn't until recently, and I've been fucking with cars my whole life. My father worked at General Motors my entire life. He always said he was gonna teach me how to do stuff for cars, so I would never need no man. And then I didn't need a man, and then he was mad. But okay, I'm gonna say that for therapy. It's coming up. But anyway, you understand where I'm going. I've been messing with cars for a long time. I know a lot about cars. I always knew that when you got your tires rotated or something, you should get an alignment. I always knew that living in Houston, there's so many potholes in these fucking streets that no matter what you do, no matter how new your car is, every few months you should go get an alignment. And you do that so that if you ever take your hands off the wheel, the steering wheel, you're in balance. You're still going straight. And it wasn't until, my life fell out of alignment and I took my hands off the wheel, I guess, and fell apart and surrendered it all to the Lord that it made sense what the hell an alignment was. And it only made sense when I was so far out of alignment. And I think that's what our checkups should be. We're eating healthy, check. We're going to the gym, check. We're setting out 90-minute time blocks that we have decided is going to be best for our working situations, check. We're getting our ADHD under control, check. We've developed a new system with our husbands, wives, or kids, check. We've got all that. That's like getting the tires rotated. Cool. But when we're relaxing, when we're unwinding, when we're resetting, I think we should get that alignment, that personal alignment. Look at your routine. See if your routine is so good like God that when you take your hands off your life for a day, does it still go straight? And if it doesn't, that's where you do the tweaks and shit in your new routine. It's something that I just realized, and it's something that I realized for you. You can have it. You're welcome. But it's also something I realized for me. We got to be able to surrender to our schedules, surrender to our routines, because we set them. We put them in place. We knew the goals. We know what they're going to achieve for us. We should be able to surrender to our schedules and know that if we take our hands off our lives, we have already set things in place that it'll run smooth and straight. And I think those are the few little things that I didn't do. Because when I took my hands off that meal prepping for 1 week, fell off for 1 week, my eating habits went out of whack. Everything that I was doing in the gym is kind of out of whack. The weights and the routine is still there, but that's not me. That's the trainer. The results that I'm looking for, maybe the numbers to go up and down in the scale that I'm looking for, I wasn't getting them. So I had to realign and figure out what it was. Yes, I'm eating. And yes, I'm still eating healthy, but I fell off on the prepping. And those are some of the things. It's not just because it saves you time and money and all that. It's because, man, I'm not eating enough. I'm going out to eat and I'm getting stuffed, but I'm not getting full. I'm not getting the nutrients. I'm not getting everything I need. So it's time for the tweak. And it's a good thing that I caught it this early in the year. So what have you fallen off from that we talked about as far as New Year's resolutions? We didn't say resolutions. What in this accountability collective are we not helping you get the tweaks? But also, what have you noticed this early in the year or this far already that you need to realign? Drop it in the chat. What are you missing? What have you noticed about yourself? What was missing before that you've added in now that has made a difference in not only your routine, but your results? I mean, we would love to hear it. That's what Sundays are for. It's a check-in. It's a tap-in. It's to see what the fuck is working for you and how is it working for you? Or it's what the fuck am I not doing that you're doing? And if I tap in and if you share in those goddamn comments, then I can see what I'm not doing or judge it upon what you're doing. Make those tweaks, get realigned, and we can get to realign as a community. So, I mean, that's what we're here for on Sundays. We're here to tap in. I know y'all here to hear my personal shit. And that's another thing I'm adding into my new routine. I need to develop more ways of going out, meeting new friends. I got to get out of this social isolation. There's no way that I'm going to get over something without going through the necessary steps to get over it. Y'all call it a process. I call it fuck. I got to do that shit again. But I need to do that shit again. And I need to start incorporating uncomfortable situations that y'all may call fun, like going out or going to places where people might be or doing something different. I need to start incorporating uncomfortable situations or scenarios in my routine as well. and you do too. Don't just schedule the shit that we know that if we do it, it will get shit done. Schedule your own pattern interrupts. Schedule some shit that you know you're not good at. Schedule some shit that might hurt your feelings or something so you can get a measurement of where you are and you can just keep pushing from there. So make sure you always schedule in that routine some kind of little pattern interrupt. Something that's going to push you a little bit out of your comfort zone. And, what might that be? A new sport, a new love, a new interest, a new book. We're going to be tapping into some books. February, I'm starting my first book with you all. Matter of fact, we're going to do 2 books in February. February is the shortest month, and so there's no need of me incorporating in my routine and hours something that could already be setting us up to fail. I was having a conversation about that tonight. If I already know we're going to fuck it off, let's not do it. And I'm not saying don't try things that's going to challenge you. But one thing I used to get chastised about in my old relationship is I'm a fucking realist too. Let's be real about the things that we know we will and won't do, and let's just go from there. So in February, there's no need of picking for us, something like the 48 Laws of Power. Something like that could take 12, 14 weeks to go through. Why would we do that in February? So February, I'm going to be kicking off my first book or 2 with you all. It's going to be 2 short books because it's a very short month. And that's something else that we could be incorporating into our routine. Learning, living, loving, laughing. Those are the things that we need to schedule in. And leaning into the uncomfortable, doing shit. What are you putting in your new routine that you didn't have in your old routine? Drop it in the chat. If y'all drop it in the chat, I'm going to drop a few things. I'm going to get a little personal. I'll tell you in the chat, dropping a few things. Mine is going to be more of a bath and more of self-care. Like I do a lot. I'm on my feet a lot. I'm constantly running. I'm a tennis shoe wearer. I'm a very tight sock wearer. And, I just need to take better care of me. And one thing that relaxes me, I don't know if you know, a while back I put it on my Instagram story, is getting a foot massage or getting a pedicure or something. Pedicures used to make me very uncomfortable. But that's because I would never take the hands off the wheel and let the lady do what she want to do. I wanted to sit up and micromanage the shit instead of knowing that it was self-love. I thought it was something that had to get done, and I was supposed to watch it and guard it. Now I know it's kind of like a self-love thing, so I just, whatever happens. Of course, I'm going to look and make sure I'm getting a great pedicure or whatever, but I've started getting into these Asian foot massages, and I have a foot spa for myself. So one thing I'm going to incorporate in is more of that. And I know that may be TNI. I don't give a shit. This is my set. This is my Sunday. I'm here with you. And if I get vulnerable and let you know some of the things I need to schedule into my routine for myself, maybe you won't feel as crazy expressing some of the things you need to do. So I need to do more better of taking care of my feet. And that's something that I never made time for when it happened to happen. When I was close to the nail shop and I had 2 hours in my day to slide in there, I did. If I didn't, oh well, so what? It's not like I have bad feet or anything, but I just want to take more time to care more about my feet. And on top of that, it's so relaxing. So I got to stop worrying about price. Stop worrying about, oh, well, I'm not on that side of town. I got to schedule it to be on that side of town. Same thing I'm telling you do. We got to make sure that our routine encompasses everything that we need for ourselves. But speaking of routines, I live in Houston. I know I say that all the time. H-Town, stay down. It's still O City or no city. I'm from Oklahoma City, but I've been in Houston longer than I grew up in Oklahoma, and it's become a place that I love. But I always talk about this crazy-ass bipolar weather. And we're back at it again. We finally had some snow, and it was a beautiful snow. It was, man, it was nice outside. The sun was still out. I watched a lot of parents take their kids outside, which I didn't expect. There was a lot of people out there taking their dogs and shit. We had a lot of people complaining, oh, we can't go to work, we can't do this. We had more people complaining about the weather. So when I saw people outside enjoying the weather, it was a little more shocking. It made me feel a little bit better. But it made me feel better because I think I was fighting. I don't know if I was fighting maybe a depression that was coming on. And let me pause right there. If you are on this Sunday set trip, if you're on the One Successful Failure page, if you are coming across ThatDamn Trip channel, I don't want to hear shit in these comments when the word depression is mentioned, or when, I describe these little mini funks or mini whatever you want to call them. I would never back in the day have claimed or even allowed depression to come anywhere near me. I had a family member that suffered with depression bad, and it led into drugs. And one person's depression can really ruin an entire family or generation if it's not addressed. And seeing as that I know that that family member has that disease, it's, to me, it's like genealogical. I feel like it can be passed down. So therefore, before I allow it to creep up on me, I've already gone and seen people, or maybe have talked to someone about it. So I know what it feels like when those things are creeping up. No, I'm not claiming depression, but I'm not shaming it either. There are some times that I do have those mini depressions. I don't want to get out of the bed, and I don't know why. I don't feel like laughing or joking, and yes, everything feels terrible inside, but I don't know why. There are times where I just feel so down on myself and don't know how to not. Those are the little times that I'm talking about. But because I know that there's the potential for me to be depressed, and it goes on so far and could take me to a place that me or no one around me can afford for me to be, I feel it. I acknowledge it. I check it. I catch that shit. Catch it. I do it like that. And if I try to act like it doesn't happen, or if you try to act like it doesn't happen, it only makes it worse. And the reason why I'm talking about that is because, no, we're not going into, I'm not finna drop the suicide hotline on here. I don't know it because I don't need to use it. But there might be someone who does. But that's not what we're doing with this. The reason why I'm even talking about, or even touching on saying something about a depression, is because right before the snow, the weather was changing. It was getting a little cold. One of the reasons why I live in Houston is because I don't like the cold. I talk about it all the time. My joints can't take it. I'm from Oklahoma. I'm not scared of the cold. I used to walk. I sound like one of them old people. I used to walk to school 2.5 miles in the snow, uphill both ways, shit blowing in my, it wasn't, but for real, I used to ride. My mama didn't have a car. My brother, no, the bus wasn't coming. I had to walk in some negative temperatures, some snow, some rain, and all that. So I'm not afraid of it. I grew up around it. I've done my share of snow angels, snowball fights, but being grown, taking the medication that I take right now for cancer that makes my joints hurt, the shit that chemo did to me, I talked about in the previous, the episode that we dropped on Friday. Go check out the One Success or Failure episode, that we just dropped, the wet fit. Go check it out. I talk about how I've broken so many bones and played sports and all this, that, and the other, that I can't, those things, that cold, it just doesn't do well for me. So when the weather was starting to change, and right before we got the snow, I think my emotions started to change. It was cold. It was rainy. It was getting dark early. It was getting gloomy. In the mornings, I would see my breath when I'm getting up to go to the gym. It made it hard to get out of the bed. And I think my question is, was I really battling what I thought was an onset, the little depression bout, or was I battling fucking weather? And is there a difference? Can weather make you depressed? Or can weather mask itself as that? Because I really thought that something was wrong with me. I really thought that, I was going through it, and maybe it was just the weather. Maybe because my body doesn't do well in the cold, that's why I didn't want to get out of the bed where it was warm. How do we know which is bad weather or weather-related motivation, and what's really mental health and or depression? Or is there a such thing? Drop it in the chat. There's a lot of people from New York. There's a lot of people from Chicago. And I look up and I'll be like, man, we got to get up and still move. Because look at them. They be having snowstorms and shit, -30, wind blowing, ice stabbing them in the face. And they're still expected to be at work. And it seems like they like it. But let it happen here and I'm feeling all kind of craziness. Or is it really depression? Can bad weather, affect your mood and your drive? I guess it can, because good weather makes you want to go out and garden, makes you, I guess it could be one of those things, but I really didn't know which one I was battling. bad weather or depression. And that's when it could be a little bit scary. That's when you gotta have the routine in place. That's when you gotta have goals for yourself. That's when you gotta have accountability, I think, is when things change, not just the weather. So that's why we're here together. But I don't know. I really don't know if I was battling the blues or if it was the weather. But either way, I didn't fucking like it. But the weather is going through that bipolar. A couple of days ago we had snow. Now we got rain, and maybe this feels a little bit better to me. It's like I can creep. And I don't mean like go out and dip and dive, but I mean like I can go hit corners and stuff like this because rain doesn't bother me where it keeps a lot of people in. I can slide and cut corners and not be seen. So I guess the weather does have motivation because the rainy weather, although it's slick and dangerous, it makes me feel like I'm kind of doing something that nobody else would do. And so I take that chance. I don't know. I guess people go out and play more sports when it's sunny. People go out or they show more body. I think people work out in the winter time for those summer bodies that we talk about. So I guess weather does have a motivation on life, but should it have a motivation on our mood, or does it? Am I just fucking battling depression? I don't know. Does weather make you feel that way? Do you sometimes feel confused? Do you think it's weather, or is it depression? Do you think it's depression is really weather, or does that shit have nothing to do with one another? I think there's a correlation for me, and I think there's a correlation for a few people, because me and my boy was talking today. We was out eating, Michael C, and after we ate, he's the most productive dude in the world, and he was cracking the whip on me and was like, we need to go home and do this and do that. But then he sat right there at the bar, no liquor, no anything, no drugs to induce the mood, and he was like, man, this weather just makes me want to go and curl up and get under the bed. And I was like, fuck, that's how I've been feeling lately. And he never speaks of depression, and he never speaks of going through anything with mental health. So it made me almost feel like I was claiming something that didn't need to be claimed. I don't know. Is there a such thing as bad weather blues or bad weather unmotivation? Or did they just happen to come at the same time? I guess I don't know, but I'm learning to battle both of them, to fight both of them, to figure them out and work through them. I guess because I'm on this self-discovery journey or healing journey. And, well, really I'm not. Let me not say that stupid ass shit. Not stupid. I know some of y'all on a healing journey and all this, but what I say stupid is because if you watched any of my very beginning episodes, I'll talk about I don't like words like journey, because sometimes it makes me feel like a set destination. And then if I think there's a set destination, I try to figure out the cliff notes, the hacks, the tricks, the formula, the Pythagorean theorem, whatever I can figure out to get to that said destination faster. And sometimes you can't, it doesn't matter what you do on this quote unquote journey, you won't get there faster. And for people like me, who I think compete at a lot of things, it can be frustrating as the fuck. So I try not to look at healing as a journey, or I try not to even say I'm on a healing journey, because then I need measurement. I need to see. But I know I'm on a journey right now of self-discovery and a journey of change and a journey of wanting different, therefore doing different. But I had someone, and this was someone, not that I know them. It's not that I don't give a fuck about them, but I don't give a fuck about them. Not that I do give a fuck about them. It was just a person in passing. And they were talking to me, and they asked me something about love or relationships or whatever, and I gave my honest answer. I gave my self-discovered answer. I gave the answer that I am choosing to depend on right now. And either they didn't like my answer or didn't agree with my answer, or maybe they just didn't understand my answer. It didn't matter. It was mine. But their response was like, ooh, see, when you heal, it's not going to be like that for you. Or, ooh, I pray healing blessings upon you, because when you heal, you won't think like that. And I really wanted to say, bitch, how you know? How do you know I'm even unhealed? What the fuck makes you think that healing is going to make me look different? Is this? Am I supposed to look at you as an example of healing? And I don't mean that in a negative way or a positive way. What I'm really trying to get to is, what does healing look like that someone can look at you and just say you're unhealed? What does healing sound like? I know what I did say to that person is, first of all, you don't fucking know me. You don't know if I'm healed, unhealed, cracked, broken, super glued back together, rolled in fucking gorilla glue and glitter. You don't know shit about my life and my healing quote unquote journey. But I said to that person, you asked me a question and I gave you an answer. And they said, well, Trip, that wasn't a nice answer. I didn't know healing meant you had to be nice. I say it a lot of times, and I think this is where people get it a little bit confused or they take it the wrong way. Hey, man, I'm a good person. That doesn't always mean I have to be a nice person. I can be the same type of person that you can be. I can be nice. I can be nasty. Miss Janet, Miss Jackson, I be nasty. What the fuck ever. But you understand what I'm saying? Just because someone is healed doesn't mean they have to be agreeable. They don't have to be a fucking yes man. They don't have to be what the internet considers healed. Like, I guess I'm supposed to be in my soft girl era because I'm healed. No, healing is not linear. I don't think my shit gonna look like yours. I think because I'm quote unquote healing or going through this self evolution or self discovery, I think I'm getting a little less nice or soft because I'm learning that my healing requires that. I think I am having to fucking heal because I was too nice and too in a soft girl era. See, a lot of y'all look at me or look at people like me, shout out to the studs or whatever we are, stems or stitches, because I don't claim to be no fucking stud. I'm just a girl who likes t-shirts, hoodies, tennis shoes, and bitches. Okay, I'm just playing. It was a joke. But I like all of the above, but I don't claim to be more masculine or more whatever. The reason why I'm in some of the situations that I'm in is because prior to this quote unquote healing and prior to this self-discovery, I was nice. I was too nice. I was a fucking people pleaser. People thought I was an asshole or like a dickhead. That was the outside exterior. That's what I wanted people to think because I didn't want them to get in. Because when I knew that when people got in, I was really nice and I didn't know how to say no. And sometimes I didn't know how to speak my feelings because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. My homegirl would say, oh, so you at fake peace with them while battling yourself or at war with yourself. Yeah, that's what the unhealed me used to look like. I think she really struck a chord with me because I didn't give her a nice, bright, pretty answer. She confused it for an unhealed answer. But I guess she's never had to heal from some of the things that I am currently trying to heal from. And maybe if she did, her answers or demeanors or new ways of thinking probably wouldn't be nice to someone like her either. I don't know. Does healing mean I have to be nice? Does your healing mean you have to go along, get along, or avoid speaking your mind or your truths when it won't go along or help you to get along? Is that part of what healing is? Does healing mean you always have to just shut the fuck up so not to make waves or rattle the boat? Because it seems like that's what people are saying to me. I'm supposed to be quiet. I'm still supposed to go along and get along. And that would show that I'm healed. But I think that would be me still just as fucking broken. I think that would be me still having a long way to go on this journey. And I was put in a situation the other day that a couple of people, I'll say a couple of friends, I had to discuss it with them and I got two totally different answers. But the consistent part of that answer I got from myself. I was put in a situation, I failed the test, and it felt fucking great. And the test that I speak of was the healing test. Something happened to let me know on this journey that I'm supposedly healing from this heartbreak that I'm supposed to be mending. Something happened that just almost felt like it blew all the work that I had been doing. It almost like fucked me up and set me so far backwards. But then I thought about it. I was like, oh, this is great. It's a measurement of where I am in this healing journey. And as being the one successful failure, although I'm not on the pod, it felt fucking amazing to fail that test. And that's what made it a success. Because I hadn't been put in that situation. I hadn't faced things in my old relationship. I didn't know how I was going to react in them. I thought I was healed from them. But I got faced with something and it fucking was disgusting. And it bothered me. Like bad. Like ooh. Like ooh. Nigga. But that was great because I knew then I still had more healing to go. But I also knew then, ooh, shit, you've come a long way because all you did was the old me would have kicked and scratched and bought and fight and went and jumped in the car and would have went and, I wouldn't be here today on the set on Sunday tripping with you about it. So I think depending on who's looking, healing could look so many different ways. So I don't think we should judge our healing on what it looks like to someone else. Not to say that you were, but I think I was. I think I wanted people to look at me and say, ooh, she looks different. She looks healed. Ooh, she reacting different. Ooh, we can tell she's healed. But really, I'm still just as fucking broken, and I just didn't have the energy to react the way that they wanted me to. So I think I'm going to stop judging my healing on what people see or say. And I'm going to judge my healing on, did you pass that test? How did it feel? What did you learn? How much further you got to go? Oh, shit, you made it? Well, nigga, we made it then. We healed from now on. Let's go to the next. Because we're always going to be healing from something. We're always going to be starting over in our healing journey to one of these destinations. All the destinations aren't the same. If you need to heal from an abusive relationship, it's not the same journey as healing from someone that got fired. Unless you was working, your boss was the one who was abusing you. But you understand what I'm saying. If you are someone who failed as a parent, you're not going to be healing from the same person. You're not going to be the same person healing from the disappointment in yourselves of never ever having kids or making a choice. Or there's going to be different healing. So there's going to be different ways of doing that. But I think my way is going to be whatever way works for me. And I think now our judgment and our measurement should be whatever the fuck works for you. I don't have to be nice to be healed. Not from this. And I don't have to have an open heart to be healed from heartbreak. No, I just have to have a heart that's not broken anymore. It doesn't have to be open again right now, 24 hours, hot and crispy like fucking Krispy Kremes for new love. No, it can be healed and closed for right now. As long as there's the potential of it opening again, even if this fucking heart is boarded up and chained up and locked up, as long as there's a key or a bolt cutter somewhere in this life, then there's always potential for that healed heart. But it doesn't have to be just wide open, for the public and for general consumption to prove that it's healed. And so I don't know what healing is going to look like. What does it look like for you? What are you healing from? And what, if you could look in the mirror, or if someone could see you, what would they see in your mind to let you know that you've healed? I don't know what someone would see for me. I think someone would see me just, I don't know. Because I've probably been so unhealed in my life, I don't know what it feels like to be completely healed, so I can't even imagine it, but I know it's going to be great. And I hope it's as great for you as it is for me, this healing journey or process or whatever it is. But whatever yours is, make it yours. It's not cookie cutter. So whatever someone is expecting to see by seeing you healed or seeing me healed, well, they might as well go cut that shit and paste it somewhere else, because it's going to look totally different for them than it would for me. Their heartbreak is totally different than my heartbreak. It doesn't even matter if we were in a relationship for the same amount of time. Their love or their loss or whatever is not going to be the same for me, because I'm not them. I didn't experience what they experienced. They didn't experience what I experienced. So there's no way that they can tell me what being over it looks like. And no one should be able to tell you what, now that you are healed, you should be a lady. Now that you are healed, healed people don't say that. Yes, the fuck they do. If that's what they need to say. If a healed person says fuck off, that doesn't mean that they still got work to go. That just means right now, in order for them to stay healed, the best thing for you to do is to fuck off. And they're being honest with you. So I don't know, man. This healing thing is weird. I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. But at the same time, too, if you think that I'm not healed, don't come at me with your stupid ass opinions and your perceptions and what you think I should be like when I am healed. The worst fucking thing you can fuck with is a crazy person. So if you think someone's unhealed, leave them untampered and unbothered, or be a better example of what healed shit looks like. So, hey man, this is Trip. This is Sunday Set Trip, and we are still here. My name is ThatDamn Trip. Check me out on all social media platforms, ThatDamn Trip. But you can also follow me, like, subscribe here. This is the home of the One Successful Failure podcast. We still will be bringing them episodes. We still will be bringing those interviews. But here on Sundays, we're still going to be holding each other accountable. Shout out to all my future failures, day oneers, day tours, and shout out to my motherfucking replayers, man. This is Sunday Set Trip. We are about to finish this day off. We're going to relax. We're going to reset, and we're going to realign with our new routine so that we can have a better next 2 weeks. I'll see y'all next time on the set. On Sunday Set Trip, 2 weeks from now, man. Drop it in the chat. What are you healing from? What does healing look like to you? New routines, all those things. And does weather and depression even have anything to do with one another? Y'all know what we discussed, man. Meet me in those goddamn comments. It's not the pod, but I'm still going to be there. I promise. Nice seeing y'all, man. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, motherfuckers!